What's going on? Welcome to another day of mobility with the 5-pillar method. Thanks for joining us here today. Let's start by finding a nice comfy spot on your mat. And take a few moments just to allow yourself to clear any stress or anxiety, any unpleasantness going on in your life. Just imagine breathing it all out. Just allow your mind to clear of any ongoing stress and just focus on what's happening right here in front of you. And get yourself ready for 20 minutes of me time. Now take some attention to your breath. Focus on nice, deep, relaxing breaths, directing that air into the lower abdomen. Breathing through the nose when you can. Allow yourself mentally to go to your happy place. We'll take a couple of breaths targeted with our body part focus today. Today's routine is focused on the shoulders and wrists. On your next exhale, just imagine those shoulders, triceps, your chest, your back. Just let it all go limp. As you breathe out that air, imagine breathing out any tension. Let's take one more deep, relaxing breath here, and we'll sigh out that breath and shift our attention to the left side pec. Let's go face down on your lacrosse ball. Start by searching through that pec muscle group. You might find there's tension tight up into the collarbone. Maybe it's closer to the sternum. Maybe it's a lower pec. Wherever you're carrying tension today, let that be your focus. And then settle into the right amount of pressure. If you've already spent some time working through the pec, try to remember to stay progressive and just add a tiny bit more pressure and intensity every time we work on it. And always being conscious to stay within your pain-free limits. Once you've settled into your stimulus for today, take your attention back to your breath. Nice, slow, rhythmic, relaxing breaths. As you let go of that air, just imagine letting go of any anxiety, any tension. Just allow that pec to get nice and soft. We'll take one more breath here. We'll slowly sigh out that breath. We'll switch to the right side. Start by panning through this right pec. Feel out where you're carrying the most amount of tension today. And do a quick experiment with how you're addressing that tension. Are we rolling on that lacrosse ball? Are we just hanging out passively? Are we in an overhead position? These are all variables you can play with. And they're all perfectly acceptable options. And the only one that's going to know which option is best for you is you. And once you've settled into that version, concentrate on getting passive. Getting passive through that pec itself and any muscle that might be tense that doesn't need to be carrying tension right now. Any muscle we're not using for this exercise, just let it go to sleep. Doing your best to sync your breathing to that target area. So as long as let go of air, imagine that target area letting go of tension. One more breath here. Let's sigh out that breath. We'll move back to your left shoulder and take our attention into the tricep. So let's go face down with your arm above shoulder height, working through the back side of that upper arm. And the tricep can carry tension in a whole number of different spots. So do your search, figure out what needs attention for you today. Let the video and the images of the anatomy be your starting point and a guide, but let your body's feedback really help you refine what this exercise is going to look like for you today. And once you're into that stimulus, concentrate on just turning off any muscle that might be carrying tension that doesn't need it. Focusing on good quality diaphragmatic breaths. Breathing through the nose when you can. And mentally staying in your happy place. Let's take one more long, slow, deep, relaxing breath here. We'll slowly sigh out that breath. And we'll switch to the right side. So if you found a good target area on the left, feel free to start around that same spot on the right. Just be conscious to the imbalances you might have. This side doesn't feel like it needs the same attention, then keep searching. Find a spot that does need attention. And if you don't find anything in particular, just pick a spot. And then settle into the type of stimulus you're going to use for that spot, what angle we're leaning, the angle of your arm and your posture, and the level of tension and pressure we're applying. You can just either let that arm rest on top of that lacrosse ball. You can use your opposite arm to leverage into it a bit more pressure. You can start to lift parts of your body up off the mat to add to that pressure. As long as we're not getting into pain, it's all fair game. Just always pay attention to how your body's responding. And let's take one more good quality diaphragmatic breath here. Let's sigh out that breath. And we'll shift our attention to the left forearm extensors. So back to your lacrosse ball. And your extensors sit on the back side of your forearm. So go palm up. That forearm working its way through that lacrosse ball, searching through what area needs attention. Settle into the right spot, the right angle, the right amount of pressure, and then focus on getting passive. Any muscle that's tense right now, just let it go to sleep. Keep as much of your attention on your breath. Find that rhythm of breath that helps you find calm. And let those calming vibes just permeate through your whole body. To allow yourself to enjoy the moment, enjoy the stimulus. And allow your body for better movement. Let's take one more breath here. We'll slowly sigh out that breath. And we'll just turn that arm over. We're focusing on those forearm flexors. So palm down, working through that forearm, looking for what needs attention. And doing a quick experiment with how you're addressing that area, whether we're rolling, whether we're just hanging out, which direction we're rolling, if we're rolling, the position of your hands and fingers. These are all variables you can play with. Just let yourself settle into whatever that stimulus is going to be today. And every chance you get, circle back to your breath. Focusing on good quality calming breaths. Breathing through the nose, every breath we can. And directing that air deep. Feeling that belly expand as you breathe in that air. And feeling tension just sift away as you breathe it out. Let's take one more breath here. We'll slowly sigh out that breath, and we'll transition to the right side. So starting on those extensors, so we'll go palm up with that right hand, working through those forearm muscles, looking for what needs attention, and then deciding how you're going to address that tension. You can roll on that ball, you can roll side to side, front to back, or you can just hang out there passively. Being conscious to how your body's responding, not allowing yourself to get into any level of pain, significant discomfort, or any kind of numbness. This should be an enjoyable level of pressure. So allow yourself to get into your happy zone, where you can enjoy the moment, letting everything just slow down, letting that mind relax, and letting those relaxing vibes just work their way through your whole body. Let's take one more breath here. We'll slowly sigh out that breath. We'll turn that palm over. Let's work through those forearm flexor muscles. Again, using that video as a guide and using your body's feedback as your fine-tuning method. Search for what your body needs today. And once you're there, concentrate on your breath. Settle into that nice relaxing rhythm and shape of breath that helps you find calm. And scanning through your body, any muscle that's on right now and doing something that doesn't need to, just let it go. Whether that's your lower body or the muscles in your face, just let it all go. Imagine breathing in healing vibes and breathing out stress and tension and any unwanted emotion. Just let it float away. One more breath here. And let's get ourselves into a left arm overhead tricep stretch. So moving your arms overhead, just grab a hold of your left elbow with your right hand and gently press that left elbow towards the middle of your back until you feel a nice little stretch in the back side of that upper arm. Nothing too forceful here. Just settle into whatever level of stretch feels right for today. This is a position that requires us to be fairly active, but still doing your best to stay passive wherever we can. Especially through that left arm. Try to relax into this position. In a few seconds, we'll gently get active by pressing against that right hand with the elbow to reverse the stretch. Let's go ahead, starting nice and easy. Attempting to move that elbow back to its starting position, ramping up that tension as we go. Let's finish with a big squeeze here. Last 5, 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse. Now think about activating through your left arm to actively pull that left arm deeper into that stretch. Ramping up that tension as we go. Reaching towards the middle of your back. Big squeeze here to finish. 3, 2, 1. Big breath out, relax. Get nice and passive. We're still fairly active with the right arm, but try to relax everything on that left side. Using your breath to find calm. Let's take one more good, deep, diaphragmatic breath here. Let's sigh out that breath. And we'll switch sides. So grabbing hold of that right elbow with your left hand, gently pulling that right elbow towards the middle of your back to feel for a stretch through that upper arm, that back side of your upper arm. And just feel out whatever level of stretch feels right for this side. And as always, we're working within your pain-free limits. If it hurts, ease off until the pain goes away. That is a hard rule. And once you're settled into that stimulus, concentrate on your breath. Concentrate on getting passive at every muscle group we don't need right now. In a few seconds, we will gently get active through this right arm. And let's go ahead. So actively moving that elbow back to your right side, resisting with the left arm, ramping up that tension as we go, finishing with a big squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse that. Think about activating now through that right arm, trying to reach further down your back with that right arm, ramping up that tension as we go. Let's finish with a big squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Big breath out, relax, nice and passive. Submit to the position. Still active through that left arm, but consciously trying to get as passive as you can through that right side. That might be easier said than done. If you really feel lost, take your attention back to your breath. Focus on good quality diaphragmatic breaths. Take one more. As you sigh out that breath, we'll shift into an elevated child's pose stretch. So if you have a bench or a plyo box or a couch handy, we'll just set your hands up on that object and we'll settle into a bowing position and finding a stretch through the shoulders and through the middle of that back. Our main attention today is on the shoulders. And while we're here, just try to pay attention to what's being pulled right now. What muscles are holding you from getting further in the stretch? There's a whole family of overhead muscles that can restrict this position. Could be lats or pecs or triceps or biceps. Feel out what's your sticking point here and try to consciously relax through that area and try to settle into your pain-free range. In a few seconds, we'll gently get active by pressing down and resisting the stretch. And let's go ahead, starting with nice easy tension. Slowly ramping up that tension as we go, pressing those palms down, finishing with a big squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse. Actively trying to squeeze through those posterior delts, pulling that chest closer to the floor, ramping up tension as we go. Let's finish with a big squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Big breath out, relax, nice and passive. Settle into whatever level of stretch feels right. Run through a mental checklist of all those muscles that can be tight here. And just one at a time, just let them go. Let's take one more good breath here. You can slowly sigh out that breath. And we'll finish up today's routine with some wrist circles. Let's just have a seat with your knees up, resting your forearms on your knees. And we'll just start to take those wrists through some range of motion with wrist circles. Start nice and easy. And as this minute goes on, we're going to try to carve out a little bit further range in these circles. So really making those wrists work, those forearms work. Attempting to carve out that new range. Working within your pain-free limits, but being just a little bit more aggressive each rep. Challenging yourself just a little bit more to work into that new end range. Really pushing through those sticking points. Last few seconds. Let's finish with a big squeeze here for this last rep. And as we finish off this rep, we'll take one more breath. We'll sigh out that breath and we'll call it a day. Thanks so much for joining us here today for some 5-pillar mobility. Hope your body's feeling great. Hope you like the routine. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.